What's up, everybody? This is Rogue Jedi Gaming here, and I am very, very surprised at Assassin's Creed Unity. I didn't buy this game because I heard about the massive complaints at launch, and I never really buy Assassin's Creed at launch, but, I played Syndicate, and Syndicate kind of bored me. And this is going to sound crazy, but I actually enjoy Unity. Now, before everyone goes crazy and, flips out, no, I paid a very fair price for this game. I paid only $10. $10. Okay? And, maybe the game was worth $30 at least with all its problems, because I seen videos. I had to look up videos and research to see what people were talking about with this game. Okay? But this game actually did things that people were not used to, and it is because Assassin's Creed Unity has gone back to basics. It has gone back to basics of the first Assassin's Creed, but improved upon them. You know how? Because one, they took away the multiplayer, I guess, to focus on more of the story, which the story here is not the greatest, but it's solid on its own. It could stand on its own. It's a 50-50 on what you think. And I'm going to explain to you. For centuries, France has been ruled by the privileged few. No longer on this day, the people of Paris have risen up against the tyranny. Now in the midst of one history's most chaotic and brutal revolutions, the fate of the nation rests on the edge of an assassin's blade, aka you play as a guy named Arno. And Arno, he's almost like, okay, I can say he's kind of like he's a wannabe Ezio with his mannerisms, especially when we first meet him. But you know what? He's fine by me. He's fine, and he's the first assassin that I've actually been able to do massive amounts of customization. This game, not only with its fantastic open world and beautifully rendered Paris, by the way, this game has, because Assassin's Creed always knows how to get their worlds right, the game has great customization, tons of weapons to play with, tons of things. He even has this little, shoots like it's like a little crossbow on his wrist. Very different from the guns, even though guns are a factor. I haven't actually used guns that much in this game. I just been leveling up, trying to customize him, because obviously you have to level up to do certain missions. Missions can be difficult, and I just get so caught up in wanting to customize Arno. The customization's great, and as an added note, you can play as the costumes from the previous Assassin's games. You know what? That's a great touch right there. That was a great thing they did for this game. The next part about this I want to talk about is it's more fast-paced. Yes, at times when you get surrounded by too many enemies, the action can get kind of clunky, but when you're in quick succession, the action is very fast-paced. Arno has his own different styles, from Ezio to Connor to Altair to Edward Kenway, and I forgot who was the twins in Syndicate. That just shows, because I didn't play Syndicate long. Like I said, it bored me. This one, for some reason, entertained me the most. I think it's because I like the time period and the setting for this game than I did with the other one. You have multiple objectives to do in this game, and you have the classic eagle drops. This is standard in Assassin's Creed, but there's tons of chests, tons of underground passages, places you can buy to level up, different safe houses. You can also do different objectives for the locals. You can also find your multiplayer missions. And co-op is something I'm going to talk about later in this video. And the cutscenes and the storyline, how they blend together, because, okay, it's not thematic like Black Flag was. It wasn't as charming and witty as Ezio's trilogy, where we really got attached to Ezio because he got 3 games. He's the only assassin I know that got 3 games. Why can't another one of these assassins get, a trilogy? Because Ezio just got it all. He's the one assassin everyone loves. But I mean, come on, give these guys a chance. The cutscenes are well voice acted, beautifully put together for the time period it's based in. The parts of the story, there's parts of the story that you'll kind of question, and if you're not an Assassin's Creed fan, you're gonna be lost relatively quickly. But I mean, the basis of the brief is obviously assassins versus Templars, the whole Animus. But as my playthrough through my 12 to 14 hours of Arnold's story, I haven't really come out of the Animus, which was a shock. I was more in the Animus world, obviously, in the thing, instead of the other games where the other games you get pulled out of the Animus to do missions in the real world. Now, the game is difficult to master if you're not an Assassin's Creed fan. I mean, I'm a vet at being an assassin, sneaking about, but the enemies are more self-aware. The enemies actually can combat you, and the enemies are a lot tougher. And the feature that I like is it actually shows you the level of what these enemies are. Unlike other games, you would have to look at them or do some kind of power vision to see them. This game already lets you know their strengths, what type they are. And the only issue I have with the game is, like any other Assassin's Creed game, the movement gets kind of difficult, especially when you're trying to sneak around, jump around. Your assassin doesn't quite do what you want him to do. That's the beef that I have with this game. That is the one beef that I have, and sometimes, obviously, when I said things get a little too fast, the action can kind of look jerky and wonky. Especially when enemies shoot you with guns, because when enemies shoot you with guns, that's another thing I wish that I don't like, is how quickly the enemies can, you don't even have a chance to react. Like where the other games would warn you that you can avoid a gun or at least drop a smoke pellet, it doesn't give you a warning. You have to do everything hardcore on your own, and that entails running from them, getting to where you need to go, hiding. And even when you get to hide, you need to make sure there is great distance between you and your enemy, because if they see you go into a hiding spot, you're going to automatically leap out. But the best suggestion as I can is pop a smoke pellet before you get in there. Then you can go back and assassinate your target, because that's the only solid way I know how to do this, because it's very difficult. Now let me talk to the meat here that I feel is a great improvement over any Assassin's Creed. One, okay, they took out the competitive nature of Assassin's Creed, because I used to love the competitive multiplayer. Manhunt, free-for-all, team deathmatch. I loved all that, because I didn't think Assassin's Creed could do it. But they took it out in favor of co-op missions, which is, they better have done a good job with it. And you know what? They did a solid job. Ubisoft did do a solid job with it. You can go in with either 1 to 2, or 2 to 4 players, but it's kind of tricky. You need to work as a cohesive unit. Sometimes you can go off on your own to help support the team by taking out enemies ahead of time or doing different objectives, but the enemies they're much tougher here than they are in the normal story world, because if you die, you will desynchronize, and your players, the whole team, will lose unless somebody can get to you and revive you on time. And the multiplayer missions are unique on their own. It's great how the story world and the multiplayer world aspects almost blends together, except you don't see everyone running around your world, because I don't know how that would work. But you see other players, the multiplayer opens up different sections of the world and different buildings that you couldn't go into during the normal story mode. And this is where I feel the game becomes incredibly replayable. Pardon what I said before, incredibly replayable, because, okay, I do, like I said, I miss the competitive nature, but the co-op nature will make you keep coming back, because there's different ways you can approach it. Approach like a normal assassin, approach as a unit with tactical instructions to each other, or just go in, Rambo swords style, slash away. But certain objectives, if you do certain objectives correctly, and if you play the game like an actual assassin the way it's intended, your rewards, your level up system, and the level up makes you come back, because it makes you want to get to that next rank, make you feel truly badass, get you to that point. And it runs really well, and I'm glad that I've got it at the price that I did, and I'm glad that I've played it all these years after it's come out. Assassin's Creed Unity, like I said, it's not the perfect Assassin's Creed, but there is no perfect Assassin's Creed. But does it stand on its own, and do I like it over Syndicate? Yes, I do. I give Assassin's Creed Unity an 8. Despite some of the things I've talked about, it's an 8. And if you